Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on the remarkable Aidi dog. We're going to take you on a journey from its ancient Moroccan roots straight through the literal nuts and bolts of the complete canine life cycle, from the biological complexities of breeding all the way to compassionate end-of-life care. Here is our roadmap for the day. We'll hit the Atlas Mountain Guardian history, break down their unique anatomy and temperament, and then we'll dive right into the breeding journey, routine health, and finally, end-of-life care. Let's get right to it. Section 1. The Atlas Mountain Guardian. Let's start way up in the mist-covered peaks and arid plains of North Africa. Look at the word Aidi right there. It literally just means dog in Tamazight, which is the indigenous language of the region. To the Amazigh tribes, this wasn't just a dog, you guys. It was the dog. Historically, they'd stake them around their nomadic encampments at night. They were basically a living, breathing alarm system, acting as a fierce guard against jackals, wildcats, and even hyenas. And their historical timeline is just wild. Wolf domestication kicked off around 14,000 years ago, and modern genetic studies show that HTD carries DNA markers that are entirely distinct from European breeds, so they have this incredibly ancient, isolated lineage. But get this. Despite being a purebred for thousands of years, the FCI didn't officially recognize them until 1963. Thankfully, by 1984, they were finally honored as a national treasure on a Moroccan postage stamp. Section 2. Anatomy of a protector. So how exactly do they survive the brutal desert heat and those freezing mountain nights? Well, the FCI officially classifies the Aidi as a molossoid mountain dog. That means they're large, solid, and heavily built. And this classification is actually super important because it firmly corrects an early mistake that labeled these guys as sheepdogs. Actually, scratch that. They are absolutely not sheepdogs. They're built for pure defense, not for nipping at the heels of sheep. Just look at their surface anatomy here. You've got this conical, almost bear-like head and a massive chest reaching all the way down to the elbows. But their absolute defining feature is that thick, 6-centimeter coarse double coat. That's not just a winter jacket. That is literal armor against predator bites when they're defending their turf in the wild. And when you look at the metrics, both males and females are surprisingly similar in size. We're talking 20 to 24 inches tall, weighing in around 50 to 55 pounds. They mature really fast, too, hitting full physical growth by 15 months. They essentially turn into these lean, athletic deterrents capable of massive, explosive bursts of energy. Section 3. Temperament and training. Now, a powerful body needs a sharp mind, right? We really have to draw a stark contrast here. Unlike European herding dogs, which, were bred to frantically run around and manage flocks, the Aidi was never bred to herd. Their one and only job is to plant their feet, scan the perimeter, and violently intimidate threats. They are stationary, completely fearless sentinels. Because of that deep-rooted guarding instinct, how you handle them is absolutely crucial. They need early socialization and a firm, confident alpha leader. But here's the twist. They're highly intelligent and incredibly sensitive to criticism. Harsh punishment? No way. That just backfires. And if you leave them bored in a tiny apartment, they will literally tear the place apart. They need a purpose, and they need space. Section 4. The breeding journey. Now, if you're thinking about bringing an Aidi, or honestly, any dog, into the world, understanding the biological cycle is essential. It's all about precise timing. First, you track the heat cycle. Females usually hit peak fertility between days 10 and 14 of their season. To take the guesswork out of it, your vet can pinpoint the exact ovulation window using hormone blood tests or a simple vaginal smear. Only when that fertility peaks should the mating act occur. And during mating, there's this fascinating physiological mechanism called the tie. Basically, it's a physiological lock where the male's swollen gland is firmly gripped by the female's muscles. If you ever witness this, do not, under any circumstances, try to force them apart. Doing so can cause severe injuries. It's a totally natural process that acts like a plug to increase fertilization chances, and it can last for up to an hour. But hey, what if that full lock doesn't happen? We call that a slip mating, where they separate before the physiological tie occurs. Don't be fooled, though. A slip mating can absolutely still result in a pregnancy. And for the Aidi breed, a successful pregnancy usually means a huge litter. We're talking anywhere from 4 to 13 puppies. Section 5. Health and maintenance. So once you have those puppies running around, keeping them in peak condition is actually pretty manageable. You'd think that massive double coat would be a nightmare, but they really only need moderate grooming. We're talking a twice-weekly brush with a pin brush, bumped up to daily when they're going through seasonal shedding. Keep baths to a minimum to protect those natural weatherproof oils. But physically, they absolutely demand activity. You're looking at 10 to 12 miles of walking or running every single week, plus daily mental challenges to keep boredom at bay. The really great news is, thanks to that rugged mountain DNA, the Aidi is an absolute tank of a breed. They have virtually no major congenital health issues, boasting a very solid healthy lifespan of 10 to 13 years. But, time eventually catches up with all of us, right? Which brings us to a really poignant reality that every single dog owner has to eventually face: navigating the aging process as our lively guardians inevitably begin to slow down. Section 6. Compassionate End of Life. As our loyal companions hit their senior years, our responsibilities shift pretty dramatically. We really have to learn to carefully separate just normal aging behaviors from true end-of-life indicators. Taking longer naps or moving a bit slower, that's a totally natural slowdown. But if you see sudden behavioral shifts like hiding, severe restlessness, obvious pain, drastic weight loss, or labored breathing, those aren't just aging. Those are urgent red flags that it's time to call your vet immediately. If your dog is in decline, palliative care at home is a total game changer for their well-being. Something as simple as tracking good versus bad days on a calendar gives you incredibly helpful objective data on their quality of life. You can modify their environment with soft bedding and non-slip rugs to prevent painful falls, and focus on vet-guided pain management and warm, easy-to-digest food. It's all about making that final chapter as comfortable as humanly possible. Ultimately, you might have to make the hardest choice of all. And I want you to remember this really powerful distinction. Relief is the goal of euthanasia, not simply the end of life. Deciding to say goodbye is agonizing, for sure. But understanding humane euthanasia helps you provide a dignified, completely painless end to their suffering when their quality of life irreversibly declines. So, we'll leave you with this thought. Knowing exactly when to let go is the ultimate, heartbreaking responsibility of loving a majestic guardian like the Aidi. They spend their entire lives protecting us, watching over our homes and families. It's our ultimate duty to protect them from suffering at the very end. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer of the Aidi's incredible history and the realities of the canine life cycle. Keep observing, keep learning, and what will you explore next?